Why are you choosing my video over all of these videos? Well, I'll tell you why, because all of those videos, you know what they go over for about 10 minutes each? Bloodhound's tactical ability is a scan. It goes 75 meters out and scans them for 3 seconds. The passive is blah, blah. No, shut up. Stop. This is an advanced Bloodhound guide. You're gonna wanna be going from Diamond to Predator. This is advanced, right? You've already mastered the 3 mechanics of the game. Aim, movement, and game sense, right? You've already done so well. You're at a Diamond level. One of these 3 things is carrying you. We're gonna be teaching you how to critically change all of these and be moving into a Bloodhound Apex Predator. I'm gonna go ahead and throw up the outline for this video right now. We're gonna keep one of those up while we go through. If you would like to skip to a certain point in the video, the time links will be in the description below. They're just hyperlinks. You just go ahead and click on them, it'll take you to it. Bam! Outfit change. Don't worry about it. Anyway, let's dive into the video. So the first thing that we're gonna be talking about in the outline is the out of combat for Bloodhound. Now, they are a force to be reckoned with outside of combat, but the scans won't mean anything unless you communicate properly. Your communications or your comms complement the scans and the scans complement the comms. If you're only using one of these, you're still going to be a very average Bloodhound. So the easiest way to get to the best comms possible is have these 3 things in the comms every single time. Character, position, and the cooldowns. Now, this is very important, okay? So if you just say, they're coming in the main door, you're not going to be really giving away any information, right? But if you say, Horizon's coming in the main door, no lift, you know immediately what character it is. They don't have the lift to get out, so if it's a super aggro push, they have no way to get out. And you know that there's only going to be 1 person, right? If you say they are coming in the main door, obviously 2. They can assume the most aggressive characters on the team. And if you don't say anything about the cooldowns, they can assume they have their way out. Because if you say Wraith coming in the main door, that assumes that they still have their tactical ability, the invulnerable phase out, right? These are very important because the distinction of your clear-cut comms, if you do this over multiple days, they will start to trust your comms. But if you're just starting this, do not jump into rank right away. Your team will not trust your communications. It is something you establish over a period of time. Those are your communications. That is the first step of being a good Bloodhound, okay? Now, the next thing that we want to talk about is how, once you have these wonderful communications and these comms all organized, once you start getting a good pattern of that, how do we enter a new POI, or a point of interest? That's right. So there's 2 big ways that you do it. And for me, at the Predator level, I would always basically assume with armor and without armor. Those are the 2 ways, right? If you have good armor, let's say a couple blues and a purple, or all purples or all blues, right? You have the time to kill. You have the TTK on your side. You have the time to fight back, that kind of thing. But if you're in all whites, you do not. You do not. Your entire health pool has diminished, right? So either go level up your armor where you started, or be very safe. And so when you enter this POI, you're gonna wanna be getting the best POI scans. What you do is you go into pub matches and measure out the scans so you can get the most efficient ones. If you ping at the bottom of your feet and then run to the other side of containment by chance, you can then scan 75 meters to that ping and you can say, okay, well, this scan will cover this. It's important because if you just have a general idea of where your scans are going to be going, like, yeah, it's like 70 meters out. Okay, well, how far is exactly 75 meters out? If you don't know, you don't know. But if you do this practicing in pubs, like cognitively practicing these steps, this will make you a better Bloodhound, 100%. You're gonna start realizing that your teammates, when they just kind of no-fill Bloodhound, they're not hitting the scans when they think they are. And it's very obvious to see in a Diamond level player if they've practiced these scans or not. It's very easy to tell. Then, once you have those scans kind of established, right? You take one side of the POI. You think to yourself, okay, from this safe spot that we know we can hit this building, hit the scan, absolutely nobody in that building, you say, let's go take that building. We need to see if anybody's in there. That's how you do it safely and with caution. But if you have the armor, like a purple armor, you can just kind of start running in there and throw out a preliminary scan that gives you an entry frag opportunity. Then you start looking for, okay, well, are loot bins open? Are doors open? Are people still moving? Are they fighting? Audio cues? Do we hear the crafting bin? Anything. And so in this clip, you can kind of see that here. I run in first, I get a scan off, nobody's in front of me, so I swing to my side, and then boom, there they are. We can see them moving. If you're unsure, go with the slow entry where you just scan a building and take it. If you have the armor behind it, if you're kitted out, that's how you go fast pace. If you'd like to see examples of this, go check out Rogue. He is a wonderful bloodhound and has the best ways to scan into buildings. All right, guys, so this is going to be a little section. We're going to call it miscellaneous because this is all out of combat stuff that you need to know before you get into the fights with Bloodhound. It's very important. Number one, scanning beacon, having someone look behind you, having a Gibby with you to bubble. Even though you're a recon character, you still need to be able to win your ones. You are not excused from missing your shots just because you scanned 3 of them. I scanned them for like 16 seconds total. How'd we lose that fight? Did you get a knock? No? Congratulations. Still your fault. 3, your scan timer works off a scale ratio compared to your ultimate timer as well. 25-second cooldown and an 8-second cooldown. So what happens when you scan and then use your ultimate? Well, it goes on an 8-second cooldown because that 100% cooldown gets reduced to that 100% cooldown. So it's still the same scale. And what happens if you have like 3 seconds left while you're still in Beast of the Hunt? Is it gonna go 3 seconds on your cooldown? No, it's gonna go to 9 because 3/8, the ratio that you had left, 3 out of 8 seconds, is the same as 9 out of 25 or 9/25. Like, it's math, right? You need to understand how that works. Okay, it's 25 seconds main, 8 seconds in your ultimate cooldown. That's very important because at the end of your Beast of the Hunt, if you have 6 seconds left, it is smarter to not scan and use just the movement and the positioning to get into the correct spot. Okay, that is huge. And another thing, you can either have red or blue in Beast of the Hunt. You get 2 options, and that is with the game accessibility settings. You can either go into regular colorblind settings, which is off, and that's red, or you can go into Deuteranopia. That will put blue. Now it'll change the shield colors a little bit and some ping colors in your character, like the UI is what it's going to change, right? But if you're a dedicated Bloodhound main and you have a hard time kind of keeping track of the red sometimes, and you're like, I wish it was a different color, blue can be the way it goes. And it's fantastic. So check that out if you'd like. So one last thing before we go into combat with Bloodhound is we're going to want to talk about the loadouts that you're going to be wanting to run with Bloodhound, okay? This is going to be Season 12 on King's Canyon specific, and then we will get into less specific. So right now the meta kit is the R301 and the Mastiff, obviously. Mastiff shoots faster, has an immediate choke, that kind of thing, compared to the Peacekeeper, even though the Peacekeeper is like super cool, okay? The Wingman and the Car SMG, again, you're noticing a trend. 1 medium range weapon and then also 1 close range weapon. If you have an automatic, go with semi-automatic. You do not want 2 automatics because of the amount of ammo you're going to have to use. You don't want to use an R301 and a Car SMG if you can help it, because that's a lot of ammo to carry and you're hurting your team's loadout choices. If you have to carry that much light and heavy, what are they going to carry? So carrying a Wingman, only like 120 shots, right? Shotgun, maybe 30 at the maximum, 32, like that kind of thing, right? So then you open up more space for grenades, a supporting item, batteries, more cells for medium range engagements, especially in ranked when the fights are much slower, right? And a sniper is a maybe unless you're proficient in medium range. If you're proficient in medium range, go for it. That 70 damage from a sentinel right off the bat, crazy. I don't recommend the charge rifle because it's just it's a crutch weapon where you most of the time don't get those downs unless you're third partying. And if you're only getting kills third partying, what are you doing here? Come on, we're trying to get better. So hammer points are a godsend on Bloodhound because the way you follow it for the fragger, right? If you're not using your ultimate right off the bat, you will continue to be helping get the last half of those kills. Even if you're in your ultimate and you're pushing with the fragger, whoever they're hitting, have them call out like, oh, I hit Horizon, RE45, Mozambique, P2020. Like, it's insanity. They got nerfed, but they're still very strong. I recommend them on every time you can. Kraber is also very good on Bloodhound. I would recommend giving it to Gibby because he's gun shield, but if you don't have a Gibby, put it on Bloodhound. The reason being is if you get a down or if 145 off of somebody, as soon as you rechamber, you can throw out the scan, and the scan will let you know what the team has committed to. If you get the knock, are they committing to the res? If you get the crack, are they battering behind there where you can reposition? It is very imperative. If you give it to somebody else just because they're better with it, sure, I don't care. This is all very general stuff, okay? That lets you think like a predator. This is not gonna be, this is how you should be exactly playing with Bloodhound in a perfect hypothetical situation. No, these are things that let you kind of get a general outline. Outline of the way you should be thinking with Bloodhound in team fights, okay? Now we're gonna move into the actual team fighting, okay? So this is probably gonna be the hardest part of the video for a lot of people out there, but this is the most in-depth. So this is essentially going to be how to team fight as Bloodhound, right? There are 3 things to get out of the way before we even start. 1, are you going to ult, yes or no? So if the answer is no, like the majority of the fights will be, you need to do 3 things. You need to relocate or position. You need to figure out where the enemy is and communicate it. And then you can scan for the team to confirm your communications, okay? Just like we talked about in part 1. So it is reposition, communicate, scan. Reposition, communicate, scan. And you do it over and over and over, right? So we'll see that in the clip, but just know that's part of it, okay? Without your ultimate, the position, so you can usually isolate 1 or 2 of the enemies, okay? You absolutely need to be doing this on most characters, but with Bloodhound, it's very important because your hitbox is so huge. When you're telling the fragger to basically go kill somebody, you have to cover fire and make sure that it's possible, okay? You are the second wave of attack because of your hitbox and abilities. Your abilities can't be used while fighting. Once you get really good, yeah, for sure, you can weave them in fighting, but you can't use them while you're fighting. Like a Pathfinder can use it to hyper jump real quick and it doesn't really mess up his reloads, right? It's not that bad. But with Bloodhound, it'll actually stop your reload animation and it'll cut off timings. I'm gonna go ahead and play this clip. We're gonna go back into the stream view and you're gonna see what it looks like, okay? So right here, you can see in the bottom right, I have the wingman and the alternator. My preferred loadout. I've got the blue shield on the team, and we've got the content creator Zenmeister on our team. Pretty rad. So what we do here is we get detected. We know there's an enemy team here, but we need to know where they are. So what do? That's right. We reposition and then we communicate where they are. But if we can't figure out where they are, we need to scan. So it's not that we're skipping a step, we're going through the step, but we just can't do it. So we have to go to the next one. So it's reposition, communicate, scan. So we could scan, reposition, scan. We find all 3. Can you point to all 3 on the screen where they are? You need to get very good at this. I'll wait a second. Okay. So we see on the screen the Gibraltar, an unknown, and an unknown. So all we know is that there's 3 and a Gibraltar, and we can see that he has a bow, right? Because of the silhouette. It's very simple. You need to get very good at this. Silhouette reading is probably one of the most important parts of playing Bloodhound. So I'm gonna go ahead and play it again, and we'll go through the steps, right? So now we know where they are. What do? We go to the front part of the steps. Reposition, communicate, and scan. So as we go up, we're taking the fight because we have the most health. At this time, I'm calming everything out to my teammates, especially because I'm playing with a buddy. So I win my 1. The first thing that I do, as soon as you win your 1, is you look at your team's health. Are they fighting? Are they attacking? Young Kyrie over here down in the bottom left, our Watson, is engaged right now. So what you need to be looking at is how can I go help them? Remember how we talked about a confirmed down is better than maybe both winning your 1? So instead of looking for the 3rd, I'm going to help out the 2nd kill, okay? So watch this. Reposition. Calm. Now we didn't have scan up, but we're about to. So what do? We reposition. We calm, we're saying it. And we already found him, so we don't even need to scan. Do you see how important these steps are? You're not gonna fill them every single time. You just need to be in that tempo. And it immediately gave me a purple shield because I was pumping out so much damage. And my teammates, look how healthy they are. We're immediately ready for another 3rd party. But one of the biggest things you guys need to see right now, look what happens as soon as we get this down. Kyrie was the one that was fighting. So do I help go first? Or do I reposition to find out where the next person is? Oh, I think I can hear you through the screen. That's right. We're repositioning to find out where the third person is. If you immediately say, I only have 71 bullets, that is 3 clips without an attachment. You are fine. If you can't fight one person with 3 people with that, you are a lost cause. So you need to take inventory about what you can physically do with your inventory, right? Like now Kyrie can get that armor swap when she gets the thirst. If I go up and it turns out that the person's right on my Wattson, we can easily kill that person because then he'll be going after our Wattson and obviously we'll be filled with a blood rage that they would even attack a Wattson. But then we go into what happens. All right, so now we go into what happens in a fight with our ultimate. Well, we're still following the same steps. Relocate, communicate, and scan. But with the addition of our ultimate, we are going to be trying to play as tight as possible on our fragger. What this means is that we will be scanning because we want the extra confidence of the fight. We want to end it quickly, right? Look at my team. I have a Maggie and a Valkyrie, 2 very aggressive players. I'm gonna have to ult as much as possible this game to keep up with their intensity. One can fly and one can move like they're sprinting with shotguns. So both of these are hypermobile. We're gonna have to keep up with our fraggers. So in this, you're gonna see the same exact thing, but like we talked about in loadouts, I've got a gold RE45. I've got hammer points. So as soon as I see my Valkyrie go in or my Maggie go in, I am following them and I am just going to be helping. Now in the top right, you can actually see when shields are broken. So that's super fun. So let's go ahead and watch. So we relocate, we communicate, I don't know where they are, scan. And so now that we've found the 3 people in this team fight, what can we do? We can actually start to pick apart where the best position is and immediately try to get one down. So the best position is to get under right around over here where we can actually engage the fight, right? So I need to move faster. I need to get up there. Let's go ahead and pop the ultimate. We're in a very third-party heavy spot. So using the movement text that we can, like slide boosting, we go ahead, we throw a grenade to control the movement. We go ahead and scan again. We found all 3. No cracks yet. But there's a crack, and look at Orange Creamsicle. Orange Creamsicle is ready to go right away. Okay. Wow, I didn't even realize I have my my spoiler tag on. Hold up. So the idea here is that we're going to be following. We've already got our clip reloaded. Our fragger is going in. We just cracked the Loba shield. Remember, you can just tell up here now. How are we going to get up there as fast as possible? Well, you're going to see me fail this one right here because I thought with my Bloodhound ult I might be able to climb up there. You just got to go up the side. But the idea here is you're going to see just how powerful this relocate, communicate, and scan is, okay? This tempo is insanity. So, Creamsicle's going up there. She gets fried. But her playing just to survive at this point, look at that. Enemy shield broken, lifeline now. So, we go ahead and play. We get another crack. Boom, one goes down. Relocate with the extra speed from our ultimate. Boom, goes down. Then, boom, almost a 1 clip. So the idea here is once you've mastered aim, movement, and game sense, you need to understand how to play the certain character better, right? That's what this advanced guide is for. So I'm not going to show you how to hit these shots. I'm not going to show you how to AD spam like these, right? This is very simple, but let's slow it down here. So as soon as we go up, we're going to watch it again, guys. So as soon as we go up, we're playing a head peek. We're going in afterwards. I'm using my shotgun because, again, I don't have a medium range weapon. We need to finish this fight ASAP. If one of them starts to run, I won't really be able to help. So right here, I duck down as I'm swapping weapons. We peek back up. And now, what are we going to be doing? We're going to be using our ultimates, reposition, reposition, communicate, and scan technique. So, reposition, kill the Ash. Reposition again. There you go. Reposition. Just keep strafing. During that fight, guys, I had a movement speed of roughly 240 with the velocity up in the tracker over there. That is insanity. So this is going to be optimal play, right? Of how to play with your teammates and how to actually get into these fights. Now let's go ahead and talk about inoptimal play, right? Because this is going to be a huge thing, especially probably for a lot of you going to a character that has a much larger hitbox, is slower, doesn't have a get out of jail free card like Pathfinder and Wraith, right? So the biggest thing that helped me going from being an Octane main to playing Bloodhound at a near professional level, right? The top 150 in the world in season 9. That 3 seconds of scan is going to be a head game, right? So if you get fried, just go ahead and throw out a scan. It'll let you know if you can finish the battery, if you need to stop the battery and shoot them because they're just running straight at you, and it'll let your teammates know exactly where they're going. You can also then, like, this is a very risky play, but if they're coming around your box, you can just like, on the other side, because you'll have the wall hack to be able to see where they are. Other stuff like that. But essentially, if you are kind of scared and you're starting to play Bloodhound and your teammates force you to play ranked, the biggest thing you can do is that tempo. Okay, guys? Reposition, communicate, scan. Reposition, communicate, scan. Those are the 3 things. Now, a big thing for you guys out there is a bunch of, I would say, how to land aggressively, because we're going to be talking about this. This is very important when it comes to characters that have no mobility, right? So this can kind of span multiple, but it's going to be a heavy focus on Bloodhound. So this is how you contest. This is how you land heavy contested areas. You want to land the high ground so you can fall off if you lose the loot lottery. The loot lottery is just like, hey, I landed on a bin, you landed on a bin. They got a PK, I did not. Let's say I just got a thermite grenade. Common thing, right? You just fall off the side, because if they jump off the high ground after you, you are essentially getting the distance of a Pathfinder grapple. That sure, they can go too, but they're giving up their loot. If you can just kind of stall them to be under looted, so that way your teammates can get looted and come to you, you're still coming out on top, because 2 well looted people is better than just, you know, 1 down. It's kind of whatever. Stall, use your shield, do whatever you can. 2, land charge towers. I'm going to go ahead and throw up a map. These are my favorite places to land as Bloodhound. You'll notice that they are around charge towers. For example, relay is really good because if rig gets contested by 2 teams, it's a very stalemate heavy place and we can go pick off a super weak team super easily. The third party area near Caustic's treatment is very simple. Crypto's tower, same thing. Scan the entire map, get the ultimates, push artillery if they're fighting. Crash site at the very top right. I think it'd be the east side, if I'm not mistaken. You can actually get a free charge tower there at the bottom and then just go straight push in with free ultimate. It's so easy, guys. It's so fun. So fun at the highest level. You want to be the one landing the safest spot if you're immobile. Even Gibby has a way to delay being shot, right? If your Wraith and Gibby are taking the most comfortable and probably the safest buildings, they're you over super hard. Because Wraith can just use her tactical to get out of jail free card, and Gibby can use his bubble to actually delay the fight, hold a door for even longer than they should, that kind of thing. So then if they give it to you, you can give them scans while they either have to disengage or have really good stuff to engage. It's like, why wouldn't you give Bloodhound the safest landing spot? Then the last one, get comfortable with all the weapons, especially since the hammer points are a viable choice this season. Now that they're back, you need to be smarter with the P20. It's basically a semi-automatic, stronger than the alternator. Okay, let me say that again. The alternator that you're like, oh yeah, I can fight, I got an alternator. Why can't you do that with a P20? It's stronger, technically. I say technically because I still suck with it, don't worry. It's not a perfect day. The Mozam is basically just a spread shot wingman. So if you get close, just treat it like a wingman. Hell, that's where half of us hit our shots anyway, is right in people's faces. So the Mozam is literally the same thing. It's like if you were gonna miss a wingman shot, you're gonna hit like 15 damage. So you're like, oh, I only hit 15s. With a wingman, you wouldn't have hit anything. That's fact. Okay, so get comfortable with all the weapons. In Diamond and Under, it doesn't really matter how many teams land at a spot. If it's like 3 or 2, or it's 3 including you guys, or it's just one other team, grab a 30-30 or a bow. Those early game are insanity. 1 headshot 96 from a bow, and 1 headshot can be upwards of what, 101, something like that with the 30-30. Those are game changers when you only have 150 health. If you're going to be the one sitting in the back scanning and getting an occasional peek off with the medium-sized weapon, medium ranged weapon like we were talking about, that is a huge indicator of a successful team fight. get in and get cooking. And with that, guys, that's pretty much going to be the end of our Bloodhound video. This was a lot of fun to make. It took me like probably 3 days of filming, recording, re-editing, rough drafts, and all that crap. And if you just want to see this live and you don't want to wait for all the other YouTube videos to come out for like the Mirage and the Ramparts and how to play them at the Predator level, you can go ahead and you can join my Discord. I'll have a link down below. And if you're in the Twitch chat, whew, oh man, you're ahead of the game. You get to ask me all this kind of fun stuff live. And so we also have a Twitter if you want to tweet at me and say like, hey, there was something that was stupid in your video and I hate you for it. Go ahead and turn on them bells. Get a notification from me every time a new video like this pops out, okay? This is the first time I've ever done anything like this for YouTube. I've put in an insane amount of work. If you could go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe, that would mean the world to me. That would be big cash money, okay? Thank you guys so much for everything. And honestly, just let me know in the comments below if which character you want to see the most, what helps you the most, and we'll see you in the next one.